Hello, I'm Bonnie Grossen, and I have worked with the ACARA standards to align with English language arts and spelling and math. And I've been active with direct instruction for many, many years, and my expertise is direct instruction. And direct instruction design and development, teacher training, and so on. And I got my colleague Bernie Kelly engaged to help with the math.
Yeah. Yes, I'm Bernadette Kelly. I'm also a co-author on the Connecting Math Concepts program, which we're going to begin talking about first. So a colleague of Bonnie's for many, many years. We've worked together on many direct instruction projects. We're going to begin this video by just talking about one specific document, which is the mapping of the ACARA math standards foundation through year 6 to the Connecting Math Concepts program, which is the primary program that you would be using in the classroom. And so we're going to look at one sample year, just some of the ACARA standards from year 1, and we're going to explain how this particular document was put together, and how you can refer to it, but don't worry, it may look like a lot at first, but the details are not that important. Most important are a few main points that we're going to make. So we're going to go right to year 1 of the document. Okay, and so you will see that the first column indicates the actual ACARA standard. And this is, of course, for measurement. It tells you it's the that's right, the measurement standard, it's the number standard, I beg your pardon. It's the number standard, number 1, and the ACARA standard itself is in the second column, just listed. And then the next column tells you which Connecting Math Concepts level you will find the relevant content to that standard. What you have in the next column is just a little bit of an explanation of what the students are required to, or what they're required to do. In other words, what they will have mastered by the time they have completed the Level B program. And so this gives you just a little bit more information about the actual tasks that students are performing in the lessons. If you look on the far right, this breaks it down into more detail. It will tell you the level, again, level B, and which presentation books, 1, 2, and 3, that's the entire program. Because lessons 1 to 125 means that these basic ordering of numbers, counting, and so on, are going to be worked on by the students throughout the entire level. This is the way the direct instruction programs are designed, that students don't just work on a topic or a chapter or a lesson for a particular focus, but the information is presented gradually and it builds very slowly over time. So you see a lot of lessons here for this first standard. And so, for example, just identifying and writing symbols, if you go down to that section of the final column, again, it's in all of the levels, goes through many, many, many lessons. Now, you don't need to worry about, oh, do I need to find these, exercises within the book? It gives you the lessons, and the 1.1, for example, means lesson 1, exercise 1, 1.4, lesson 1, exercise 4, and so on. Also lists all the independent work practices. You see, the children get a lot of practice on what we teach, and that's intentional because we want them to really, really, really master the content. And this is the foundation of how they will perform well by the end of a sequence of within one program, and especially over many years as you build these skills and concepts with the students. So that's the basic format of this document. It basically just tells you, here's the standard, here's the ACARA standard written out, this is the level that, and in this case, for year 1, you would be in level B because the foundation year primarily uses level A. And so this tells you that it's the actual level that is mostly assigned to year 1. And there's a lot of content covered in that level for this particular standard. So that's sort of an overview of how the document is organized. So if we just scroll down, you'll see a very similar thing. Here's the number, okay, number 4. Let's just have that one. That was, okay, well, it's number 2 and 3. That will work too. So we've got partition in different ways using physical and virtual material. So is this to do with place value, partitioning 2-digit numbers into tens and ones? It's understanding the basic place value system. And so we have, again, a lot of specific tasks that you'll see in level B for that particular standard. And then again, a slew of lessons, lots and lots of lessons. So it's very similar to what we looked at before. And on to the next standard and so on. So if we scroll down a little further, you might see something a little interesting there. Let's stop right here, because when we get to the number standard 5, where it says, use mathematical modeling to solve practical problems involving additive situations and so on. In other words, this would be story problems. We do have the beginning of story problems in level B. And again, they translate little basic action story problems into addition subtraction problems. Great. But also in C, level C, we elaborate too that some of the content that's described in this standard number 5 is actually met in level C. And the main point I want to make here is don't worry about that. Because if you're going through the sequence of connecting math concepts, and we have this overall goal of levels, foundation through year 6, we may not do things in exactly the same sequence as the ACARA standards are written, but we will get there in the end. So the idea is that you really follow the program. And so you might have partially met a standard in year 1, and you'll finish it in year 2. Not a big deal. But the important thing is that the students will have had the opportunity to have a solid sequence of instruction and, most importantly, learn it and to mastery so that they have the foundation to build upon that on the following year. What we don't want is for students to get exposed to every single ACARA standard, but superficially, so that they don't actually master the content that's being taught. And so you'll even see in number 6 there, the sharing and grouping, that's related to multiplication and division. And so we don't get into that until level D. Don't worry about that, because that's a more realistic sequence for the students if they're really going to get to grips with not only the numerical skills, but also then starting to translate those into story problems and doing it successfully and reliably with strategies that work for a wide range, the generalizable strategies that work for a lot of problems, then we're going to build on that gradually. And so you will see that some of these standards will actually overlap with the later similar standards in the later grades, and the students will be meeting those standards along the sequence of connecting math concepts. And the important thing is not to worry about that if it's it's a different level than you're using. It does not mean stop using level B and start using level C and find those lessons. No, no, no. You're going to teach the lessons in sequence through the level that you're teaching. This is an American curriculum, and so there is a money strand or track, as we call it, where students learn the values of coins and construct values of combinations of coins and so on. And the Good to Great schools have actually created what they call swap out lessons, I believe, or swap out exercises, and those will be provided to you so that you, again, keep going in the exact sequence that the Connecting Math is working on. But instead of using the examples that you see in the book, there'll be a supplemental substitute exercise so that you'll be able to teach the students about the American money system rather than the US coins.
About the Australian money system.
Yes. Oh, excuse me.
Australian money system.
Yes, excuse me.
I want to say one more thing about this level D that's still here, is that multiplication and division, they start learning that before level D, but this particular standard, when we aligned these, we looked at the samples they give. What do they call those? the examples of the kinds of expectations they have. And this particular standard involved modeling and some word problems and situations that we don't cover until D. That doesn't mean that they never did a multiplication fact before level D.
Right. For
We
sure.
could look down at at measurement and see where there's probably coins here at level 1.
Okay.
If
Yes.
scroll-
So we're still on the number, and probably algebra would be next, and then the measurement.
Measurement.
See if there's measurement. Okay, so what I think has happened here is in this particular document, this is giving an overview of only those standards that are fully met in Connecting Math with no modification. And so the swap out lessons, the exercises for coins, will be in a different document, is my analysis. What's going on there?
Measurement too, there's no coins here.
There's no coins here, and I think there are in the actual ACAR standards. So if it's not here, it's because it's dealt with swap out exercises. We could go one more grade and see.
Not one more grade to 3. I'm sure I put alignments in there for 3.
With coins, but I know that in grade 2 there were coins. In year 2, I believe there were coins as well.
But anyway, the teachers don't. I mean, this document is for administrators to show that the DI curriculum aligns and teaches the Australian standards and how they teach them, where they teach them, and that most of them are taught. And the teacher's role is to just start with lesson 1 of that program. The teacher doesn't need to look back at this. You need to trust now that the program teaches these standards and will teach it well. We have plenty of research to show that when students are taught sequentially like this to mastery, that what they learn on lesson 1, they learn well, they'll be able to do lesson 2. And if they learn that well, they'll be able to, everything builds on it. So if you don't teach well lesson 1, you won't be able to do the subsequent lessons. And if you go out of that sequence or do something different, you're not going to get the same results. Start at lesson 1 and just keep going and teach to mastery.
And the mastery tests, of course, will help also to determine, if the students are mastering the material. But even lesson to lesson, it's very important that by the end of an exercise, you're feeling good that the students are with you and are able to perform.
Yes, mastery is something that happens minute by minute, that you really working to see them get concepts correct the first time. They'll start with counting on lesson 1 and they'll do more counting on lesson 2, and you want to find and see that they can get things right the first time, and then they're at mastery.
Right.
Anyway, that's part of the training that goes with the program.
Yeah, and I think this one that's highlighted here is actually with working with word problems. That is just would be the dollars and cents lining up and so on, which is more of a computational skill rather than the coin identification. So it does look to me as though that will be in a different document. But again, not to worry about it, because if you have any kind of supervision or coach in the building, and you see that you're coming to the money strand in level B or C or whatever, that somebody in the building should be able to tell you, oh yes, and here are the replacement exercises for that particular strand, because we do know that they've been created, and just slip that in instead of the exercise that's in the book. Yeah.
Yes, and that's at the site.
At the site, yeah, at the school site.
The alignment for spelling mastery, which has A through F, and it's mapped to the ACAR standards, similar, absolutely parallel to how the math works. If we look at foundation year, level A. Level A aligns with foundation year of spelling. And again, just as in math, sometimes some content will be taught in a different level. But the teacher is not to worry about that. Just teach level A from lesson 1 to the end, and then start level B at lesson 1. And any content that is not covered by the program can be picked up in the supplemental Aussie Lit and Aussie Math. I think spelling has very little supplemental material required. The main thing to do in teaching these programs, I'll say again, for the teacher, is to start at lesson 1, teach to mastery. Instead of spending your time developing a lesson, planning a lesson, finding the parts to put together, you don't spend any time lesson planning. That's done for you. Your focus is on giving feedback to the kids, monitoring their mastery, teaching to mastery, making sure they have mastery, and teaching sequentially lesson 1, 2, 3 in order, day by day, and the program will work. All of these programs will work best if you teach that way. And put in the swap outs if there's content like Australian coins look different than American coins, so you have swap out lessons for that kind of content. And then adaptations for spelling conventions of Australia, like ISE instead of IZE. There are accommodations for that built in. Follow your coach, follow the sequence, and they will take care of you.